when you get to the Morgan Frost of it all, because that's kind of the part of that line that's been missing lately. We talked endlessly the last few shows, like, yeah, man, Michkov and Tippett looking real good together. It's going well. Where the hell is Morgan Frost? Well, Frost shows up tonight. I did think he made some plays in some previous games, but like John Tortorella always says, you got to score. Tonight, he gets the secondary assist on the Owen Tippett goal from Drysdale. And he scores a goal of his own. Not a bad idea going to the net when Michkov has the puck. You know, maybe just get your ass there, and he'll probably set you up pretty well. Yeah. That's what happens. Took him 2 shots, but he eventually put it in. Good for you, Morgan.
Hey,
it's
if at
good.
First you don't succeed, try again.
Good to see him get going. 4 of his previous 5 points, 4 of his previous 5 games, no points. Goal and an assist tonight. Maybe this is the start of a Morgan Frost hot streak.
He does it every year.
It's right around this time.
It's usually December or January is when it starts. Well, it's December 10th. Perfect time for your usual Morgan Frost. We're not even quite at the second half yet. I think we're in like that right before the second third of the season. Yeah. We're in that range. Get it a little early this year, Morgan, maybe?
I really thought it was going to be last game because the artists formerly known as the Arizona Coyotes. We all remember a couple of years ago
he was once very good against them.
While, yes, he was on a great streak, it was like, well, 9 of these points are in 2 games against Arizona. I thought maybe Utah was the team that would get him going, but they're a little better than they were a few years ago.
I would agree with that.
Very, very happy to see Frost get going, because if he's going to be out there, I want to see him playing well. I don't think he fits in this team long term. Just forget how disappointing he is, and how disappointing he's been really since they drafted him, and the inconsistency and the coach stuff and all that.
The Morgan Frost of it all, as you say.
Yeah. I just don't see where he fits. I don't know, when you're building the team, where you slot him in when everything is what it's supposed to be. You need to find the 1C. You have Jet Luchenko. Coots ain't going anywhere, at least for a while.
Yeah.
Was Morgan Frost your 4C?
Yeah,
it just doesn't fit.
But here's the thing. Even if you look at it that way, and I am definitely more on board with that line of thinking, because I felt like this was his chance to show that he had to be part of this, and thus far he is not. Even if you believe that he doesn't have a long-term fit, the short-term fit is obvious in that you need a skilled center to play with Michkov. Yeah. So that's him. But the other side of it is, if you've decided that he can't fit, you're going to trade him. You'll want him to boost that trade value as much as possible by showing in the second half of this season that he can still score at a solid rate.
I would love to know what the perception of him around the league is. Is he a playmaker that hasn't really got a chance to play with some goal scorers? And when he's had that consistent time, like he did a couple of years ago with Owen Tippett, it was it went pretty well. Yeah. Is it, it's just he's not a Tortorella guy. And as much as everyone respects Tortorella, it's like, once you're not, you're not. Some guys can turn it around like Sanheim, but for the most part, it's like he's never going to give him that opportunity. I would love to know what the perception of Morgan Frost around the league is.
I think the perception is what he is. The perception is that he's
40-point center.
He's a quality middle 6 center. And if you are a team that is in need of centers, and there are definitely teams that just don't have enough centers, it's a hard position to fill, then you're going to be interested in trading for him. Now, you're not necessarily going to be interested in trading a first-round pick for him, but you are going to have interest. I can absolutely confirm that there were teams in the offseason, in the summer, that checked in with the Flyers on Morgan Frost, and they basically came away with the opinion that Flyers aren't serious about moving him. I think if the Flyers did get serious about trading him, maybe next summer, they would have teams. Maybe not the same teams that checked in last summer, but they would have teams who would be interested in giving up something of decent value. Probably not something of blue chip value, whether it's a quality prospect or a first round pick or a really good NHL player, like present day player. I don't think they would get that for him, but I think you could get a mid round pick or a B+ prospect for him. I think that would be very much on the table.
I just wonder, as part of a package, what would he be considered? If you're trying to get something of high value, and you put Morgan Frost in that trade, does that put it over the top? Is it a throw-in? I think
we'll
see.
It depends.
It depends on what else is.
If you're trading for a 1C, a youngish 1C, And Morgan Frost isn't the blue chip of that deal. He's not the jewel of that offer, where maybe the jewels of the offer are a first-round pick and one of your top prospects. But then, it comes up in conversation. The other GM says to Danny, like, well, we're giving up this guy. Now we're weaker at center. Danny's like, well, I got a lightly used Morgan Frost to sell you. Why don't we put him in the deal and push it over the finish line? That I could see. I could see that.
All right.
We all silly like the mayor.